Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Head wounds, heavy bleeding, and then just shrapnel all over. So folks are bleeding from their abdomen, bleeding from arms, bleeding from legs. Secretary Hegseth, do you know who said that?
I'm not sure I do.
It was one of our soldiers describing the devastating Iranian drone strike at Port Shueba, March 1st in Kuwait. As you know, 6 of our soldiers killed, over 30 wounded.
That soldier's words were not read to score a political point. They were read to establish a fact. 6 American service members were killed at Port Shueba, Kuwait, on March 1st, 2026. Over 30 more were wounded. Here is what made this hearing different from every other Iran war hearing. Ryan had done his homework. Port Shueba is located less than 100 miles from Iran. The Shahed 136, the Iranian drone used, has a range of several hundred miles. Before the war even began, there was clear intelligence that Port Shueba was high on Iran's target list. Internal military analysis had concluded the site was indefensible from aerial attack. The recommendation was clear: do not use this location. Hegseth sent the 103rd Sustainment Command there anyway. And when those soldiers requested additional force protection before the attack, they did not receive it. The survivors' words say everything. Watch what Ryan put on the record.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Head wounds, heavy bleeding, and then just shrapnel all over. So folks are bleeding from their abdomen, bleeding from arms, bleeding from legs. Secretary Hegseth, do you know who said that?
I'm not sure I do.
It was one of our soldiers describing the devastating Iranian drone strike at Port Shueba, March 1st in Kuwait. As you know, 6 of our soldiers killed, over 30 wounded. Secretary, do you know the range of the Shahed 136 one-way attack drone, approximately?
It depends on the variant, but it's got serious distance.
Several hundred miles.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how far Port Shueba is from Iran?
There's a reason why we took extreme measures of
reclaim
force
my time.
protection, because
I'm
we
gonna
understood
reclaim
the
my time.
proximity challenges.
Mr. Chair, I'm going to reclaim my time. It's well under 100 miles. Before the war started, there was clear intelligence that Shueba was high on Iran's target list. Internal analysis had said the site was indefensible from aerial attack and should not be used. Yet you sent our soldiers from the 103rd Sustainment Command there anyway. Is that true or false? True or false? Straightforward question.
Are you going to give me a chance to answer, or just play gotcha?
Did you send them there or not?
We took proactive measures from the beginning to ensure force protection and defensive posture were maximized across the theater.
Let's talk about what defenses they had. Prior to the attack, officers on the ground knew our troops were vulnerable. In fact, they requested additional force protection. Did they receive it?
Wherever humanly possible, force protection and counter UAS was always made available.
They did not. In fact, when asked to describe the base's defense, one survivor who's come forward from the unit said, quote, I would put it in the none category. From a drone defense capability, none. So let's be clear, no counter-drone capabilities, no counter-rocket systems, no counter-mortar or counter-artillery, not even the basic overhead protection that you and I had 20 years ago in Iraq, and now 6 of our soldiers are dead.
And then Ryan revealed something that had not been said publicly before. The day after the attack, Hegseth stood at the Pentagon podium and described what happened. He called the drone that killed 6 Americans a squirter that squeaked through fortified defenses. One drone. Squeaked through fortified defenses? But the survivors told a different story. One soldier told CBS, painting a picture that one squeaked through is a falsehood. Another said the unit was unprepared to provide any defense for itself. It was not a fortified position. A third survivor said the building's protection was about as weak as one gets. 3 survivors, 3 separate accounts. all directly contradicting what Hegseth said from the Pentagon podium? Ryan asked the question that the families of those 6 soldiers deserve an answer to. Watch what Hegseth said.
The next day, you downplayed the attack. You said it was a squirter that squeaked through fortified defenses. But since then, thankfully, brave survivors have come forward to set the record straight. One of our surviving soldiers told CBS, quote, "Painting a picture that one squeaked through is a falsehood." Another said the unit was, quote, "unprepared to provide any defense for itself. It was not a fortified position." Another survivor said the building's protection was about as weak as one gets. Secretary Hegseth, that is obviously in direct contradiction to what you said from the Pentagon podium the next day. So are you saying that these soldiers, our soldiers, who survived this horrific attack are lying?
What I'm saying is before the commencement of the conflict, we put in maximum defensive posture we could.
That's a direct contradiction
we moved
to
70,
what they said.
in this directing, can I speak, or are you just going to monologue falsehoods all over the place?
It's not a falsehood.
We moved 7,500 troops off of the X based on the intel.
Stop.
Based on the intel.
Stop. Reclaiming my time.
Because you yell doesn't make you right. Just because you yell doesn't make you right.
I'm reclaiming my time on behalf of these survivors. You just said what they said is a falsehood.
There's a much larger picture. There's a much larger picture at play here that included integrated air defenses, bunkers, moving people off the X to ensure that they were not part of the target. We moved those troops and all across the theater, thousands of troops off the X, off of their bases, because we knew what Iran was going to try to strike, and we knew there could be a tragic moment. There could be a tragic moment where something could get through. Of course, that's the consequence of conflict, and we remember those 6 every single day.
I want to finish.
But don't play games with.
I'm not playing games. I want to finish with one more quote from a survivor of the attack, and I put this on the record. Telling the truth is important, and we're not going to learn from these mistakes if we pretend these mistakes didn't happen. Secretary Hegseth, those soldiers told the truth. Those soldiers are braver than you are.
I commend them.
They are asking for accountability. They deserve accountability, and I'm asking for the same, starting with you. And as I said a year ago, you need to resign immediately.
I commend.
Let's be precise about what this hearing revealed.
You downplayed.
Before the war began,
you said it was a
military intelligence warned that Port Shueba was indefensible. The recommendation was to not use it. Hegseth sent the 103rd Sustainment Command there anyway.
One of our surviving soldiers
the soldiers on the ground requested additional force protection.
Painting a picture
they did not receive it. When the drone struck, 6 Americans died. Over 30 were wounded. The next day, Hegseth called it a squirter that squeaked through fortified defenses. 3 survivors, on the record, called that account a falsehood. This is not the first time accountability has been demanded from this defense secretary. Moulton called it murder. Kelly called him not right for the job. And now Ryan, a combat veteran himself, said the soldiers are braver than Hegseth and demanded his resignation. 6 families are waiting for the truth. Subscribe to Dana Weston Daily because the survivors came forward and their words deserve to be heard. Drop a comment. Do you think Hegseth should resign over what happened at Port Shueba?
Because you
we read every single one.